Alright, what's up, YouTube Nation? I'm back. I decided I'm not going to wait until Friday, so I decided that today I'll give you the video that y'all been waiting for. A lot of y'all been getting bored and reckless and are tired of the spring break treat videos because y'all want the actual main video. Y'all like, man, the hell with them treat videos, Alex. I want the video. And your ass gonna get the video you've been waiting for. Just tell you some other lovers are just impatient. They just can't wait. So, with no further introduction, this is gonna be having sex with supermodels part 2. And then I'll put in the description supermodels having sex with black men. Now, in part 1, I talked about in that video why being with a supermodel is the top honor, the absolute best. It's like winning an NBA championship. It's like reaching the pinnacle of your success. Big house, fast car, you're a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, or you play basketball or football, and there's just one thing missing on your resume, and that's dating a supermodel. It's like what Lil Wayne said in his rap song 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, I should say. It feels like winning a championship ring because I ball hog, and yes, I am the Carter man. And when he says from hood rats to top models, from straight shots to pop bottles, well, I'm here to kind of take that concept and put it into the video. Because some people might ask, what happens when you don't get the supermodel? And I did say in part 1, 2 months ago, I did say that I would make a part 2, and I would say, what's the difference between a supermodel, a plus size model, and Instagram model, and then a thought? Because a lot of people talk about that on the internet, so I thought, why not make a video about it? Just to educate and help some people out. Now, you already know about the supermodel. The supermodel, you see her in television, you see her in film, magazines, and she's the most beautiful woman on the planet Earth and perhaps in the universe. But what about the other versions of a model? At number 2, we have Miss USA. Miss USA is like the second best next to being a supermodel. Before you become a supermodel, you compete what we call a beauty contestant contest. And you think of someone like Vanessa Williams. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, she was Miss USA and she won the title. And then, of course, that sex scandal broke out and she was stripped of her title. But that's before you get into television and film, and that's before you have a fully fledged supermodel career. Is that there's Miss USA. You're going to compete against 10 other females, so it's like a total of 11 women. Sometimes you might compete against 25 women, 30 women. And then if it's the international Miss USA beauty contestant competition, then you're competing against anywhere between 100 to like 1,000 women who are all competing for the title of being the most beautiful woman in the world. There's another title called Miss USA. And to become that, you got to be very good. You got to be physically fit. You got to be in college. You got to be in the prime of your career. That's like the next best thing if you can't get a supermodel. And there have been some professional athletes that have dated women like that. There have been some professional basketball players, football players, baseball players, tennis players, soccer players, professional boxers, mixed martial artists, actors, businessmen. And then if you live in Texas, they'll say Miss Texas. If you live in New York, they'll say Miss New York, not to be confused with the black girl who called herself Miss New York, but actually a beautiful woman called Miss New York. If you live in Chicago, they'll say Miss Chicago. You live in Los Angeles, they'll say Miss Los Angeles. If you live in Arizona, they'll say Miss Arizona. You live in Las Vegas, they'll say Miss Las Vegas. If you live in China, I would assume they would call it Miss China. If you live in Japan, they would call it Miss China or Miss Japan. And if you live in Scotland, they would say Miss Scotland. If you live in London, they would say Miss London. So you see what I mean by there's different variations and different titles of it. Halle Berry comes to mind. She competed in these competitions before she broke into acting in television and film. And then so I've already explained the difference between Miss USA and the other titles that go under Miss USA. Now let's get to the next one, which would be plus size. Now there is a such thing called plus size models. Now this is something that this trend took place late 90s, early 2000s, and this was for women that were 200 pounds, 230, 240, 250, 300 pounds, and in some cases 400 pounds. Now, there are some men who do go to these competitions to watch plus size women that are models. Now, that means it's like the same thing with a supermodel. She's beautiful, problem is she's fat. And about 80 to 85% of you men don't like plus size women. But for the men that like plus size women, they go to these competitions and they support the fact that this is a plus size woman that has beautiful features. She's just 200 pounds, 300 pounds, but she's very physically, sexually attractive in the face. It's just that she's fat. That's the only problem. And again, you have some professional athletes, whether it may be basketball, football, baseball, tennis, soccer, hockey, that will date these types of females. Let's get a person that actually dated a plus size model or an amateur plus size model. Let's look at somebody like former professional wrestler WWE MVP. Remember MVP? He dated a black woman that was a plus size model. I mean, you could tell that at one point in history she was a plus size model, and he was a professional wrestler. So there you have it. Booker T, he dated Miss USA. Well, not Miss USA, but he dated Miss Houston, Texas. So you should know that if you don't get the title of number one, there's always Miss USA or Miss Texas. And then there's the plus size model. Now let's get to why some people make a big effing deal out of men talking about Instagram model hoes and the thoughts. Now, Instagram model hoe is like another way of saying the poor man's supermodel. Because in the hood, you get these beautiful, attractive women that got big titties and a big breast, and they'll pop up on Facebook, they'll pop up on Twitter, Instagram, they'll pop up on social media websites, and they'll show off their nice athletic body. And these women will go to the gym and do lots and lots of cardio. And the reason why some people make a big effing deal out of it is because they're trying to say that's another way of women to manipulate, trick, and deceive you. Which there's some truth to it. And then you have women that are called thoughts. Now, that's like another way of saying the inspiring supermodel. She's not a supermodel, but yet she's inspired to want to become a supermodel. So a lot of these women think that if they go on the internet and they show off their nice athletic body, someone will discover them. And sometimes they get discovered, sometimes they don't get discovered. And just like the Miss USA and Miss Las Vegas or Miss Kansas and the plus size models, they all do the same exact thing. They all give you the Hollywood treatment. They'll cook you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, butt naked with no clothes. They'll give you a back massage, a neck massage, a feet massage, a bee job, and they are some freaks. Oh yeah, a lot of these models are freaks. But the reason why you see men messing with Instagram model hoes and messing with thoughts is because they find these women physically, sexually attractive. Now, people always throw out there, well, but these girls are hoes. Okay, so are porn actresses, so is strippers, and so is some of the girls you went to high school and college are hoes. So, let's not be stupid and dumb, and let's not be stupid and delusional here in 2018, people. Now, I figured it out. The reason why men are messing with women that are thoughts is because they find these women physically, sexually attractive. And these women are from the ages of 18 to 29 years old. These women are in their prime. And ain't no man trying to get with no woman that's in her 30s or 40s or 50s unless he has no options and no other choices. But if he had a choice, he'd rather get what they call the poor man's supermodel. Other people call it the poor man's choice. I call it the poor man's supermodel. And when they go to gyms like 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness, Gold's Gym, Club Onyx, Club Bay, UFC Gym, and LA Boxing Gym, you see a lot of thoughts. And they see them ass, they see them titties, and they forget that she a hoe. Now, they still do the same thing like most women will do. They're still going to want you to take them out to lunch and dinner. They still going to want you to have money, looks, and status. So that's not going to change. And again, you're still going to have to display a lot of masculine energy. You're still going to have to portray yourself as a man. That's not going to change. So 99.99% of the time, you're going to have to step your game up. Now, in the black community, in the African American community, a lot of black men believe that if they date supermodels, their life and their situation will be enhanced. In some ways, that is true. There is some truth to that. But my mom was a model, an inspiring model about 30 years ago. And back then, it was women that were porn actresses, dancers, and strippers and cheerleaders in high school and college trying to become quote unquote supermodels. My mom got discovered. I wasn't sure if it was on Hollywood and Sunset or if it was in Inglewood, but there was some guy with a camera that saw my mom walking around and thought she was beautiful and attractive and told her, you need to come down to the agency and take some pictures. And my mom took some modeling pictures. Now, the only reason why my mom did not advance her career was because she had me. And she could not afford to, have a family business, a boy, and then try to become a supermodel. And you see, a lot of these women come from all over the world, from different foreign countries, to inspire to be what? A beauty queen, right? You've heard of that. Beauty queen or a princess. Well, guess what? Back then, I've seen women try to enhance their looks to be taken serious. They saw this could get them into the movies, a television show. They could break into music. So a lot of your thoughts are females that be trying to be R&B singers. Female rapping MCs, if you will. That's why I say it's the poor man's supermodel. Now, as a black man, you can get a supermodel. You ain't got to necessarily be rich and famous to get a supermodel, but you can get what they call an inspiring supermodel, a woman that wants to be the real thing. The sex is going to be off the chain, but let's talk about some of the stuff that I've heard black men in the community talk about, like raising your standards. Well, let's talk about that. Raising your standards do obviously have some consequences. A lot of times, the men who tell you you need to date a supermodel or you need to date Miss USA, they really tell you that because they want to steal the woman for themselves. But a lot of times you find out when you mess with women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s, you find out these women don't have no social skills. So when they tell you date the most beautiful woman on the planet, what you find out is you date a 10 and you find out she ain't got no personality. You find out that she a stuck up bitch and she got a nasty ass attitude, and then you start complaining why she got this attitude, why she a bitch. And then I used to tell my friends, well, you want to date the most beautiful, attractive woman, what do you expect? So you have to understand that the modeling industry targets young women to become supermodels. And just like dating a woman in her sexual prime, or AKA sexual V market, you only have a certain amount of time to be in the spotlight as a model. There is what they call a fashion model. That's another level where all they appear is in clothing. Then there's being a fitness model where they be on these fitness magazines and they convince you that if you pick up a magazine and read the magazine, you'll be in the same athletic shape as the person you see on the front cover of Men's Health or Women's Health fitness magazines. So there's that. There's also that. And then a lot of these women behind the scenes have to do a lot of things they're not happy and proud of. Like if you look at porn actresses and you look at supermodels, there's a lot of similarities between the two. Both are supposed to be perfect, right? But a lot of them get plastic surgery. They get their lips done, their cheekbones done, their lips done. They get the Botox, the tummy tuck, liposuction, and all of a sudden they got big ass breasts and a big butt. And that's where we got the booty model from. A lot of black men love their supermodels that have a big butt. So when they see a white girl that's supposed to be a supermodel with a big butt, she's not a supermodel no more. Now they call her a booty model. You know, there's that. And that's usually where the sex get real good. And, you know, if you're a photographer, you're going to have a nice time because you're going to get to see all the beautiful, attractive women that you could see in one day. And a lot of times that's what happens. But back to the thoughts. You can find the thoughts at the gym, and they take pictures of their bodies when they be working out. And it doesn't matter if it's a white girl, a black girl, a Latino girl, or an Asian girl. A thought is a thought. But the reason why people on the internet make a big effing deal out of it is simply because they don't like the fact that you're trying to date a thought. But if you date a woman that's in her 30s or 40s or 50s, oh, they don't complain as much. There goes the hypocrisy of these individuals who make these videos about thoughts. And then you see if you catch your best friend with a thought, and then he told you not to get with a thought, then he becomes a hypocrite. So this is only part 2 of the video. But if you look at TV shows like America's Top Model with Tyra Banks, not all supermodels, but the vast majority of those females, if you look very closely, a lot of those females were cheerleaders, they were dancers, R&B singers, fashion models. A lot of them are booty models, and a lot of them also were strippers trying to become supermodels. So not everything that you see on TV is exactly what you see on TV. Sometimes it's like the old saying, be careful what you ask for and you just might get it. You know how they say, don't ever follow in the footsteps of your hero, and you follow in the footsteps of your hero? Well, every man fantasizes of wanting to date Barbie. You know, the toy Barbie doll, right? Well, guess what? A lot of men envision porn actresses in television and film, and supermodels as Barbie. In the next YouTube video, I'm probably going to make a part 3 and call it Men Want to Have Sex with Barbie. Yes, I'm going to make a YouTube video called Having Sex with Barbie. Because men do have this powerful fascination with Barbie. And then they complain when a woman turns into plastic. You know, men complain she got plastic breasts or she got a fake butt. And that YouTube video has to be made because I see no one's made that into a video. So in the next one, we're going to talk about men who are fascinated of wanting to make love to Barbie. You know, the toy Barbie doll. So that's going to be made into a YouTube video. Until next time, peace.